Hello everybody, welcome to my live stream, coming to you from Australia. We are here to talk palmistry. Any questions about palmistry, palm reading, handwriting? I've been busy writing more articles on my website, destinypalmistry.com. I have a link in the description of this video for my website and for all of my books. If you are interested in palmistry books, I have quite a few. I try to keep them fairly easy to read, try to keep them fairly easy to understand. And I know the reason I started doing my own books is because I was picking up palmistry books and there was not enough pictures in it, and I'm sort of interested more in reading if I can see a picture to relate to it. So my first two books are very full of pictures. For that reason, I literally made the book to suit a person like me who loves images. So my first two books have color photos. So I printed the ebook version so you can see I like to put diagrams in and descriptions in the images. So that works for me. And the first two books are both like that. The first one is more about the hand itself, and the second book goes to all the lines. So that the two books go really well together. Yes, visual, so you can wait to get your taxes lost so I can purchase your books. Oh, yay! I like tax time myself because that's probably the only time I've got spare money as well. It's one of those things. Cost of living is horrendous. Just anything to have a fan on our head to cool our weather down. Thanks for joining, Jeannie. We have a few viewers on. Everyone is welcome to chat. I can see your chat, and people can ask questions. I've just finished talking about my first two books, how I put color pictures in them and descriptions so they go together. Destiny Palmistry Character Awareness and all the lines. I do give away the ebook. Every month I'm giving away my first book, ebook. Sometimes I'm in a really good mood and I give it away to just lots of people. So I give away that first book a lot. It's on my website. You go there to win free palmistry book. You can find that in one of my links in destinypalmistry.com. So yeah, so the two books are great together, but if you want everything in the one book and it ends up being more value for money to have them together because the printing was in black and white. So it's not really the two together, but I made a third book with everything in it. My computer's buzzing. If you hear a buzzing, there's a fan above me and my computer's vibrating. I probably need a new computer. So the second book is good because it's got more content. I've updated, upgraded. It's like a revised version of the first two with lots more information as well. And it has a really good index at the back. This is the paperback version. It still has pictures, not in color, and a lot of them are my own artwork. So I do my own drawing, bit of an artist. So there's a lot of hand-drawn images in there, like this example, fire hand. I don't know how to put it up there. So it's just my own drawings mainly. I still have pictures on almost every page, depending on how much content each subject has. I'm just using this book to stop the vibrating. Oh, such is life. That's not going to work. Anyway, we can put up with the buzzing. Yeah, so that book's available on Amazon. It's available from my website. I've got some copies here if anyone wants a signed copy. only a lucky few can have that, because I don't know how many I have in stock, because I have to buy them myself. I'm not the supplier, so if I want my own book, I have to go buy it as well. So I have bought a couple, if anyone wants a signed copy. So there you go. Go to my website, destinypalmistry.com, for all the new articles that I've written, and if you want to purchase my books or palm readings, they're all available there. We've got no questions so far, so I will keep babbling until somebody gives me a question. Where's everybody from? Where are we coming from today? I have a lot of US people, generally because the time is right. I think it's Monday in the US and it's Tuesday here. But in the UK, I think it's pretty late at night, so if you're from the UK, you must be staying up late. And I think India is early morning, like 4 o'clock in the morning, so they're probably not likely to come and join. New York City, is that what NYC stands for? So was I right? It's Monday there? Monday afternoon? I'd say so. Yeah, it's hard for me to get the whole world to come together at a good time. I could probably do the math and figure out the best time so that people all over the world can sort of sink in. Yes, afternoon. But I suppose it might, Monday 7 p.m. Okay, cool. Yeah, so for me, to try and get everyone like in an afternoon or a good time, I think maybe a weekend might be good, so somebody doesn't mind staying up late on a weekend. What's your question? We have some viewers on Facebook as well, by the look of it. Yeah, if you're on Facebook, you're welcome to comment as well. Because I've got it on my screen. It should come up whether you're Facebook or not. If not, I've got Facebook turned on my laptop as a fail-safe backup, because I have so many glitches with technology, only because I'm just learning. So you're welcome to ask questions if you keep the questions short and sweet, because the software won't let you do a big long explanation. If it needs a big explanation, maybe break it down into 2 questions instead of 1. That way, yeah, it will come through without being blocked. We have people coming and joining us. You're welcome to say hi. Don't be shy, say hi. We are going to talk about anything that you need to know. If not, I am going to talk about my next subject of the palm prints, and eventually fingerprints as well. But palm prints is very interesting for me at the moment, because it's something that's like a fingerprint. It stays there all the time. Your palm prints don't change. Okay, we have a question. I have a star that sits at the mount of the moon. Oh, it was too long. It should still pop up. That's gone. Yeah, long questions. Long questions get filtered. So I should try and change it, but it did pop up here. Star on the moon, and one of the lines turns into a part of the Saturn line. Star on the moon, and one of them turns into a part of the Saturn line, but the actual Saturn, I have another star. They're parallel to each other. So depends if they're a big star. If it's a big star, it's just other coincidental lines. So a star at the amount of moon, and one of them goes into the Saturn line. So that would represent something different altogether. Anything connecting to the Saturn line, which is also the fate line. For those who don't know, it's the line vertical line that goes towards the middle finger. So that line connecting to there can represent many things. It can represent a time of your marriage. It can represent a career thing. It depends what the star looks like. You have interpret as a spiritual esoteric gifts that becomes a sense of security for me. Well, that could make sense because it's in the amount of moon, and I suppose security comes from Saturn. So it's getting energy from the Saturn or receiving energy from Saturn. So, but that's also the fate line. So I have seen that kind of marking to relation to marriages as well, depending on where it interferes with the Saturn line. So actual Saturn is another star and they're parallel. Okay, so on the Saturn line, if you have the other star, that's generally not a good sign. That might be like obstacles, but a little bit difficult for me to judge without looking at. But if you see it as a spiritual gifts, well, that kind of makes sense. But the star on Mount of Moon, that's as per my book, that's in my All the Lines book, what I interpret, just the star by itself, not any other lines from it, it's giving more powers of instinct and imagination. Also, anything to do with Mount of Moon is enhanced, like nurturing ability. Sometimes, depending on other marks, if you are a writer, that's like your celebrity status can be achieved through inspiration or through writing. That also needs other signs, but the star by itself is a different meaning to if the star has connecting lines to it, and if the star is on a line, that's a different meaning again. Usually it's like a crash, a splash. On a line, it's saying that this is a mixed up time. There's energy going everywhere. The star is letting energy go in different directions. So it's like scattered energy or an event that causes havoc during that period. So that's why on a line, it's not good to have a star. But many people mistake the star just because there might be a health line, there might be the fate line, there might be other lines that are just coincidentally crossing. So you have to be careful with reading stars on the hand. But that's if that meaning suits for you, I think that would be good, because if it gives you a sense of security, anything that gives you a sense of security is important. And you know, we all find things on our palms that we might be a little bit concerned about. So it's nice if we can find a positive meaning to something that we originally might think is a negative thing. So if we can find a positive thing in it, that's always a good thing. Learning intuition, yes, that's a good thing to do, because sometimes we don't listen to our intuition. We've got the intuition there, it's nagging, and we tend to just go, yeah, whatever. Look at the palm. Yeah, it's easy to hear your intuition, but it's hard to believe it and follow it and listen to it. So, yes, one of those things. Read my hand, please. Raj, as you're on Facebook. Kuram, I've read your palm on many groups before. I'm pretty sure that's the same. I've seen your palm all over the internet, Kuram. I've read your palm in one of the Facebook groups before. We have looked at your palm, and you do have good lines, and you have to try and just be positive and believe that your lines are good and strong, and that you can achieve what you want to achieve in your life. You just have to believe. But if you do want me to do a proper palm reading, you can go to my website and order a palm reading. I have lots of options available. You're welcome, Ginny. I'm glad that I have brought some clarity. That's good. Kuram's asked to read his palm. Maybe you can just ask a question. What do you want to know? Do you speak English? You said read my hand. So if you want to just ask a question about one of your lines, that might help. Think on people on Facebook. I think they can actually post a picture. I'm not sure. Can they comment with a photo? I don't think you can put a photo in YouTube. I'm not sure. I believe if you're a member or a subscriber, you can post a link of a photo. I think that works. But yeah, unless I've already got your photo. Clubhouse. You have a clubhouse? Palm reading room. I do readings over there, donation based. I think you may enjoy it. You're in New York. Are you going to pay for my plane ticket? That's interesting. Where is this clubhouse? Anyway, Anne, welcome. You have a question. Can you tell me what does a swirl mean on the moon mount? So the skin ridges, a swirl, you're talking about the skin ridges? I have just finished saying that I'm doing a subject on the skin ridges. I was talking about that earlier. So I even have the book open in front of it, of all my palm ridge patterns. So, oh, it's online clubhouse. Online clubhouse. Oh, okay. If you want to send me a link or something, yeah, I'll look into that, sure. Something different. Palm reading room. Yeah, okay. That sounds interesting. It's an audio app. Usually have them send me the hand pictures and do the reading on Clubhouse. It feels like a radio show. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Right, so the Whorl, I believe, the swirl on the moon mount, so I presume that you're talking about the skin ridges. If you're not talking about the skin ridges, let me know. If you have a different swirl on there based on the creases, but I'm assuming you're talking about the skin ridges. Is Anne's answer. So I have that has is a sign usually for someone who can have the ability to visualize very clearly with strong powers of imagination. So it's kind of holding that imagination. It gives like a concentration area. There is a negative side to that where you might get stuck in that imagination and you live in your dream world, and then you're just like stuck in your own world and maybe unable to show who you really are. So yes, like a Whorl. Okay, cool. Yeah, so for some people it kind of gives a nature where they're kind of stuck in their little world and they feel like they're not showing themselves properly, unable to show your inner self to the world, so to speak. There is not a huge deal of study on that, so I would be definitely interested in chatting with you further with that. If you want to chuck me a message on through my website, go to contact me through there. If you want to help me with this study a bit more, because I've only met a few people with that, and a couple of them are very creative and others haven't been. So it's like maybe the ability to visualize doesn't always go to creative side. Ability to visualize could also be imagining things that aren't real, like being suspicious about other people, or just having a high imagination but not being realistic with it, kind of thing. So, but I think it's good to have a conversation about that and go a bit deeper into it. But yeah, there's like a lot of questions involved. Also, depending on your skin type, there's a sensitive skin types with silky soft skin and loose skin, and then there's the hand types that's quite firm and coarse, and when the skin feels a bit more harder. So they're two different personalities, and I've noticed that people with the Whorl on the moon with soft skin are more likely to be the creative types, and the ones with the more hard skin are the ones that have the imagination without actually putting it in reality. So they're the ones that might be more stuck in their own world when they have that more tough skin. So that's quite a rare Whorl to have. You have pink and soft. Okay. So that's probably even more rare for you to have that Whorl, to have soft skin. A lot of coarse skin. I'm not talking coarse as in proper hard-working man's hands, but coarse as in you can see the ridges really, really clearly. So that's more tougher skin. The more tougher the skin, the more you can see the ridges on there. If you have very delicate fine skin, it's really hard to see the prints on there. So I hope I've answered your question a little bit at least. I'm just, my computer's gone flat. We might have lost the other people on Facebook. Looks like the Facebook person left. I've read his hand on the pages. My palmistry pages and groups, he's in many groups, and it's like he can't get an answer. We give him answers, but he keeps coming back with the same question, so I hope he's okay. Yeah. So I hope I've helped answer a little bit. Do we have any other questions today? My daughter has a loop on the Mount of Moon where you've got the swirl, the whirl. My daughter's got a loop, and what I wanted to say, her loop comes from the end of the headline. Now the whirl can come from the end of the headline, or it can rise up from the bottom. So there's another different meaning. So if it rises from the bottom for a whirl, that's different from the one up coming from the headline. So my daughter's got a loop from the bottom of the headline, and that is the two meanings, loop of sensitivity and loop of creativity. And my daughter is both. She's sensitive and creative. So she's got the lucky to have that, and she's just got that in her personality. The loops have so many meanings and so many different areas. So the coming from the lower part into the moon, that represents inspiration, loop of inspiration. So the whirl coming from there would be similar to the loop of inspiration, would be called a whirl of inspiration. So if yours whirl is sitting right below the headline, that would be the whirl of creativity or whirl of sensitivity, instead of the loop. You meant the Mount of Venus. Oh, I've been talking about the wrong area, and you said moon. Moon is this side, Venus is the thumb side. So you meant you have a whirl here. That's even more rare. That's even more rare. Really? Oh, that's totally interesting. Yeah, so if it comes, there's another, does it rise from the bottom? Does it rise from the thumb, or is it smack bang in the middle? I would say it would be smack bang in the middle of the yeah, I thought, yeah, you said moon. Yeah, so I've been talking about the moon mount. Well, lucky we clarified that, because a whirl on the actual Mount of Venus is very rare. The whirl was another question. I'm getting so confused now. Okay. Okay, let's go back to Jeannie's. I didn't even read. Okay. Didn't even read your question. Let's go back through the questions and have a proper look. Okay. What if a client has many horizontal lines on the Mount of Venus, but only one or two vertical lines? Well, the vertical lines can mean a couple of different things. There can be a loyalty line, like loyalty to your tribe or family or tradition, or they can be stress lines. So don't worry about the horizontal lines, but the vertical lines on the Mount of Venus can represent people. They can represent people in your life. If you are close to people and if you like people, that if you have spirit guides, if you have family that you're connected with, if you have children, if you have many children, often they're down here on the bottom part. So many horizontal lines on the moon mount mainly can represent like a loss of energy. You have to compare both hands. Is it on both hands? And how well developed is the mount? If the non-dominant hand has a well-developed mount of Venus and the dominant hand it's not, it shows that the person has had lots of energy in the past, but then something's happened where they now lack energy. So I have a survey on my website about the lines on the Venus mount. People can answer questions, so that's how I'm studying those lines. So many of those people believe that they have a spirit guide and they feel very spiritual themselves, and those that don't tend to say that they love having people around them. So it relates to people, to spiritualism, to spirit guides. Some people don't believe in that, but overall you have to compare the size of the mount. So the lines can form because the person has lost energy. So if it used to be a big mount and then started deflating, if you imagine a ball deflating. Welcome, Stephness. We have a VIP on board. Stephness has joined. Oh, Stephness sent a long message. I'll get to that in a second. So yes, so the person may have lost energy if it's only on the dominant hand. So there's various things. You have to look at a whole picture before we can fully know what the lines stand for. Welcome, Stephness. We have a VIP member question. How am I? I'm good. I've just noticed I have a horizontal line on each of my fingers in the middle phalanges. Okay. Yeah, I got on some of mine. I got, is it very deep? Roughly 1 centimeter from the main middle phalange. Is it significant? So, I do have a whole section in my book. I don't know what's spamming symbols. my software is a little bit sensitive today. It doesn't like the long messages. It's removing the long messages, but luckily my screen is keeping the message. On the actual YouTube, you're welcome, Jeannie. On the actual YouTube, it's deleting. It's actually deleting the long comments. So I might have to go in my settings and work out how to stop it from deleting the long comments. But it's showing up on my screen, luckily. So I have in my book all the different meanings of the phalanges, and in all the lines book I have the meanings of what the lines might mean. on each phalange. Now, usually a horizontal line, if you imagine on the palm, vertical lines are more positive unless they're on the tips of the fingers, and horizontal lines are more blocking. So the horizontal line is representing some blocked energy. So the middle phalange, I don't know if you've got my book. I'll see if I've got it here. It's an example. I'm not sure if I've got it in this one here. The middle phalange represents, yeah, I do. Look at that. I've got it in front of me. They represent all mental. So the tips represent the ethereal, more spiritual type. The middle phalanges represent the mental, and the bottom phalanges represent the physical and material. So the middle phalanges being more mental, so its horizontal lines represent obstacles there. So each finger has a different meaning. So for instance, the middle finger might represent business and finances and sciences. The ring finger would represent creative things, and the index finger would represent more about your personal self. So maybe those horizontal line might be showing that maybe some part of your self that you're not quite happy with, whether it's an obstacle or just something you're not quite happy with. So I have one on my index finger right in the middle one. So mentally, there is something for me that I'm not quite happy with myself. So I don't have it on the other finger. So that would be career, finances, I'm okay. Creativity, I'm okay. My pinky was broken. It's I had a broken pinky, so that's there's no line on there. So for me, I have one on the index finger. So it represents the meanings of Jupiter, but more on a mental, in the middle phalange. So in the mental side, there may be something that you might mentally not be happy with, that you might need work on in your life, things that you need to work on, if that makes sense. Hi, Pakistani Redneck. I'm here earlier than Thursday. I don't remember saying I was going on a Thursday. But I'm doing it Tuesdays now for public. My other live readings are for level 2+ members who have joined. I don't have the ability to send so many notifications for different days. I'll be starting a weekend one, probably Australian time, Saturday mornings, which might be a Friday night for some people, or yeah, so I might be doing different days later on after I do some testing, see how it goes. And hello, Lamin Jara, greetings to you as well. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Welcome to our thing. Stephanie says, very interesting. They are very faint, so hopefully disappearing. Yes, that's it. They usually are faint. Lines like that are usually faint. If they are a deep crease, it usually only means that you have a very long middle phalange. If you have very long middle phalanges, means that you are quite intelligent. It shows intelligence, and it shows the flair for business, shows the flair for creativity, flair for decision making. Everything that's on a mental level, if you have very long middle phalanges, it represents that's where you excel in your mental side, your intelligence. So if they're very long, they can form an extra crease because of the bending. It's trying to bend again. The skin bends again because the section is so long. So I've seen that on some long-fingered people. Okay, what does a triangle on the lower side of the heart line? A lower side of the heart line, I'm not sure what you mean. If the triangle is made with the interjection of the fate line, heart line, and line arising from the heart line. Okay, so you mean at the end of the heart line. When you say lower, I think you mean the end of the heart line. Fate line, heart line, and line arising from the heart line. That seems like it's just because it's a combination of lines. There may be line. It sounds so confusing because you're saying interjection with the fate line. Is the fate line going through the heart line? And so is the triangle above the heart line? So if the triangle's, if it's formed by lines by itself, that shows a boost, and that could represent a good period if it's above the heart line. But if it's below the heart line and interjecting with the fate line, so that can represent inspiration in career and things like that. It's a little bit hard for me to explain from your explanation. It kind of doesn't make much sense. But usually anything to do with the heart line is representing the emotional plane, and if it's joining with the fate line, it could represent relationships and things like that. But yeah, it's a bit hard for me to know based on that explanation. Triangle is below the heart line. Yeah, I would say that it's just coincidental crossing of other lines. It may be just like a stress line, a worry line that's crossing to make it look like a triangle. Jeannie says, I interpreted that as him being able to reach new levels of awareness and change of perspective, along with abundance based on possibly travel. Reach new levels of awareness. Awareness, if it's emotional awareness, change of perspective based on possibly ping travel. Yeah, I don't know how travel comes into that instance. You have to look at the rest of the hand before you can talk about travel. And abundance is, again, you can't say abundance without seeing the rest of the hand. You have to see what the other lines are doing. It's a difficult one to judge based on those words alone. I have to go back, not ping, yeah. Not ping. Yeah, We're talking about different things again. Are we getting confused, Ginny? Are we getting confused? The joys of chat. Joys of chat. It'd be alright if we could just have everybody like it on Facebook. My laptop keeps going blank. They can't see my channel, or they can't comment on it. Yeah, I've got Facebook group called Palmistry Lessons. I've got thumb and palm line study. I've got quite a few of them. Oh, did I delete your message? Or did Streamlabs delete your message? Well, you're still able to type, so I didn't accidentally block you. Sorry, Laman, sorry people, I do forget them, but I have to quickly try and remove them before they do any more damage. So I had to find the right buttons to remove the person from my channel and to stop them from commenting, because they will spam the heck out of it and it's just disturbing. So yeah, we had a question. Ikra, welcome. You have 4 lines branching out from the lifeline in the end. Well, that may mean that you will probably do a lot more traveling later. Branching out lines near the end, if they are fairly clear lines, usually represent either getting your career or life is to do with either overseas or you like to travel. Most people who have had these lines, they tend to enjoy traveling in their later years. So say 55 onwards tend to enjoy traveling, not necessarily overseas, but in general traveling. So branching out lines is the energy leaving the normal path of life. So energy leaving the normal path of life means that you're still on your normal path, but there's travel involved of other places. If there's not physical travel, there is like mentally take yourself away. So it could be like a creative time in your life as well. What was the other question? We missed out while I was busy trying to block somebody. Who manages all of this for you? Pages, groups, website, YouTube, so much of the things at once. Yeah, that's me. Me, myself, and I. I do all of my managing. So keeps me busy, on my toes all the time. So yeah, in the middle of writing constantly. I have new articles on my website all the time, new pages. Welcome, Leah. My fate line starts from the Mount of Moon and stops in the middle. There's also a line connecting my fate line and headline. You're welcome. Okay, so where is my interactive? Let's see if we can interact with this picture again. So fate line starts from the Mount of Moon. Let me clear this drawing here. So fate line starts at the Mount of Moon, which usually looks like this. So it stops in the middle So it probably doesn't go all the way to the headline if you're saying in the middle of the palm. So it probably stops in the mid, probably stops here. So a line connecting, so a separate line connecting to the headline. So I'm not sure what you mean. So that may be an influence line. If your line is straight, it's the straight line, that's the actual fate line. But if you are, it just depends where you are talking about. A line connecting from the headline, does it come in like that? Does it come in like that? There could be various ways that the line can connect to the headline, but all of them doesn't really matter exactly what it looks like. But that fate line, if it stops, it means that there's changes around that period. So if it's before the headline, like in this drawing, that represents around about the age of 28. So probably the branch line's showing a different direction. So imagine this line is a road, and that road is now ended, but you want to continue traveling towards a certain direction. So you might have a branch line that's taking over that sort of path. So the other meaning is that just lost my color, went from, I just wanted red, I want red. So the other meaning could be if it's a drooping line from the headline, if it's nothing to do with the fate line. So that's probably the reason why that fate line has stopped. So either way, if there's a mental reason for this path to stop, it means that that time there is a change. Whether it's due to something that you thought about, something that was stressful, or whether it's another reason. But there's something has caused that fate line to no longer follow that path. So is this on your dominant hand? It would be more likely to be so. If it's on the non-dominant hand, you have to compare what's on the dominant hand. So, but whenever lines end abruptly, it shows change. So you might have a look clearly, have a look on the palm, I'm losing my picture. Have a look on the palm if there are other lines that start as a fate line. Like for instance, is there another line that starts over there or anywhere towards the mount of Saturn, the middle finger? So that might mean that there is a pause in the career or a life path. Oh, really? Really? What's the time? 10:08. I've actually been here long enough. So I'm going to attempt answering one more question, and then I'm going to go and do something a bit more serious. Can somebody report this guy, please? Somebody, please. Report. Anyway, I'll ask one more question before I have to go back to business with this menace. Stephanie says, if the travel lines come down from the end of the lifeline on non-dominant, does it still represent physical travel? If it's not on the dominant hand, it may represent that that there's changes. So it may not be physical travel, because usually the dominant hand has to be on there if it's towards the end of the lifeline. So that's it. I'm going to end this stream, thanks to some people, but I've been on here long enough now. I normally do an hour, so I will look forward to making another video soon, and I hope you all will come and join me next Monday night in the US time or Australian time, Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. And don't forget, check out destinypalmistry.com, join my channel, check out my pages on Facebook, Palmistry Lessons or Thumb and Palm Line Study, 2 of those, and also my links. I have links on this video. Once it's done, it saves the video, and there should be, in the description, there should be links to my books, links to my website, etc. So thank you all for joining me, and I shall see you next time. Bye.